There he was, Roti, and beside him, the man who had once offered her a job years ago, the same man who had contributed to her pregnancy. He froze too, stiff and rattled, but quickly masked his shock with a forced smile, pretending everything was fine. Roti stood up without hesitation. "She's employed," he declared to his partners. "Give her an office. Dismiss every other candidate waiting for this position." Gasps filled the room. Roti turned to Adesua. "You resume tomorrow. We have a lot to do." Adesua could hardly breathe. "Thank you, sir," she said, tears in her eyes. But Jay, the same man who once insulted and blocked her, stood up coldly, ignoring her completely. He followed Roti to his office, boiling inside. Inside Roti's office, Jay burst out. "Guy, is this how you hire people in your village? Are you serious right now? This is business, not charity. She just did a presentation, no questions, no CV review, nothing. What kind of employment process is this? You didn't even give others a chance." "Roti, don't spoil this for us. There are better candidates. You saw them. Why this one?" Roti stood calm, arms folded, eyes steady. "Who owns this company?" he asked quietly. Jay huffed. "Obviously you do, and I'm your partner." "Who built it from scratch?" Roti pressed. "You, of course." "Roti, why are you asking?" "Who hired you?" Roti cut in. "Even when you weren't qualified." Jay fell silent. "I did. And today, look where you are. Because I didn't judge you by paper qualifications or polished suits. I saw something in you, same way I see something in her." Roti moved closer. "That woman, did you see her presentation, her clarity, her delivery? No fluff, no error. Her mind is sharp and she's hungry for something. Maybe it's revenge. Maybe it's redemption, I don't care. But I see potential. She might have come out with a second class lower. So what? We've hired first-class people who crashed us. Hired perfect people who brought chaos. You've seen it. Trust my judgment, Jay. That lady will change this company. Just give her time." Jay stood still, swallowing hard. The air conditioning was on full blast, but sweat gathered at his temple. His hands trembled as he rushed out and into his office. He grabbed his phone and dialed. "She's here," he hissed when the call connected. "Adesua, that girl. She's here. He just gave her the job. No checks, no questions. He likes her. Says she has potential. There's fire on the mountain. If she stays, she will dig. She will find out the truth. We're finished. Do something, fast." He hung up just as a knock came at his door. He turned. It was her Adesua. She stood tall, radiant in quiet confidence. "Mr. J," she said softly, almost sweetly. "So good to see you again." Jay blinked. His mouth opened, but no sound came. "Out. You remember me, don't you?" she said. "You insulted me, blocked me, mocked my family. But look at God." Her smile widened. "He works in mysterious ways. Just 2 days ago I was talking about you to my sister, and now, here we are. Same office, same floor, same air." She leaned in slightly. "And now that I'm here, I'm going to find the truth, all of it. You called me loose, remember?" Her smile vanished. "But let's see who's really going to come undone." Adesua didn't flinch. She stood firm, her voice calm but laced with fire. "You called me loose just because I made a mistake, just because I was drunk and vulnerable and something happened, something that contributed to the pregnancy of my girls." She stepped closer, eyes locked on Jay. "But now you can't run. Every day in this office you'll see my face, and every single day I'll remind you who is their father. I don't need your friend's money. I don't want child support. My daughters just need a fatherly figure, someone to look up to. So save me the stress and give me the truth. Tell me the person already. If you don't, I'll torment you with my presence." Her smile widened, but it wasn't warm. It was a warning. "Make your choice. and make it wisely. It was really nice seeing you again, Mr. J. The big manager. She turned toward the door. I'll see you tomorrow, Jay snapped. Stop there! He stormed in front of her, blocking her path. So your mouth is this sharp now? You walked into my own office to threaten me. Me, the manager of this company. He laughed bitterly. You don't know me. Ask questions. I run things here. He stepped closer, lowering his voice like a snake. If I see you in this office tomorrow, you better act like we've never met. You don't know me, I don't know you. Stay in your lane, respect yourself, and get out of my office. Adesua didn't argue. She simply smiled and walked away. Later that evening, at home, Kimmy was pacing with excitement. So how did the job hunt go? Adesua collapsed on the couch, still buzzing. Girl, you won't believe it. After that first interview flopped, I was ready to just go home. I had zero expectations for the second one. But I went anyway, just to say I tried. She laughed suddenly. And guess who I saw at that second interview? Who? Kimmy asked, leaning in. Adesua grinned. The foolish goat that blocked me years ago. The same man who insulted me. And my whole generation, Kimmy gasped. Ah, he's the manager? Exactly, and his face? If you saw his face when he saw me, God just placed me directly in his path. But thank God it wasn't him that employed me. It was Rotimi. Wait, Rotimi? The same man whose girlfriend your daughters poured food on 2 days ago? Yes. He stood up during my presentation and just said, she's employed. No questions, no CV. Jay tried to protest, followed him to the office, but Rotimi refused to change his mind. Kimmy's smile faded slightly. Be careful, Adesua. That Jay, he's hiding something. The way he reacted when he saw you, then rushing after Rotimi like that. Adesua nodded. He told me to act like I don't know him in the office. Said I should pretend like we've never met before. Kimmy's eyes widened. That's not normal. He's scared. And if a man like him is scared, he's hiding something deep. Be smart. Protect your job. This man can lie, twist stories, even frame you. And you're working in the same office as him? Then Kimmy added, and what about Rotimi's girlfriend? That crazy one who ended up in the hospital because of your daughters. That girl's got connections. If she sees you in that office... Adesua slapped her forehead. Hey, I even forgot that one. She go fight me off. But a big job is job. Nah, Rotimi give me this work. She can't take it from me. Kimmy shook her head. Don't be naive, Adua. As long as that girl is still Rotimi's girlfriend, she has power. She could cause serious wahala. Just stay smart, avoid drama, stay quiet. Learn what you need to learn, then maybe later move on. But for now, avoid Jay and that girl like a plague. The next morning, Adesua was helping the twins into their school uniforms when the girls suddenly called her. Mom? Yes? Congratulations on your new job. Adesua smiled. Thank you, my babies. But Mom, one twin added seriously, we need to pray. For what? For temptation. The temptation in that your new office is too much. Adesua frowned. Wait, are you working with me? Aren't you going to school? The second twin chimed in. We are, but today we're coming to your office after school. Ah, why now? Because it's midterm week. We close early at 1 p.m. and Auntie Kimmy said she'll be working far away and won't close till 5 o'clock. So we'll follow the school bus to your office and wait for you till you're done. Adesua screamed. God forbid, my first day at work. You want to bring fire to the lion's den? She rushed out of the room, ready to chase down Kimmy for answers. Come to my rescue. Adesua held her phone to her ear, pacing frantically. These children want to get me sacked on the first day of work, I beg. Kimmy laughed on the other end. Calm down. It's not that deep. They're just kids. Just kids? Kimmy, I'm begging you. I'm going far for work today and I can't make it back in time. These girls can't stay home alone, not for hours. You know how they are. They'll burn the house down. Remember what happened last time. Please, accommodate them for a few hours. If I close early, I'll come pick them. Kimmy sighed. Okay, send them. Adishua was already panicking. Those girls at her workplace. Trouble. Before she left, she warned the twins sternly. Respect yourselves. Don't put me in trouble. Don't get me fired. She got to work, and surprisingly, Rotimi wasn't there. She kept her head down and focused. A female colleague was assigned to her, very talkative. 1 hour in, and Adeshua already knew the office gossip top to bottom. Names, stories, drama, everything. Curiosity got the better of her. She leaned in. So, what's Jay's relationship with Mr. Roini? The lady lit up. Jay? And that one is Jay the Rapper of Women. That's what we call him. He's eaten half the women here, just so they can keep their jobs, promises promotions and all. But first, he eats. That one is for the streets. Please, don't even look at him twice. He's fine, yes. But he's a snake? That fine boy package? It's for where he'll put his thing next. Adishua blinked. I didn't ask all that. I asked if they're related. Jay and Mr. Roini. Oh, no, they're not family. Just tight friends. Mr. Roini owns the business. Jay is just managing it. He likes to act like he owns it, but I heard from the horse's mouth. He doesn't. They're not partners. Just close. And Mr. Roini. That man is every woman's crush. Tall, handsome, powerful. Doesn't smile much. But if you get in his good books, you're elevated. Smart workers, he notices them. But his girlfriend, that one is trouble. A real witch. The day she visits, someone's getting sacked. She just shows up anyhow. Please avoid her. Adishua chuckled. Thanks, that's enough. Let's get back to work. Around 1 p.m., Adeshua stepped out to bring the twins to reception. But there they were, already walking in with Rotimi, laughing like old friends. She rushed forward. Good afternoon, sir. I'm really sorry. They weren't supposed to be here, but no need to explain. Rotimi smiled. They already told me. But sir, they can stay with me. No, they'll stay with me. Even the twins refused to leave him. She had no choice but to return to her desk, still anxious. And true to her fears, trouble landed fast. Jay suddenly burst out of his office shouting, Ghost! Rat! There's a rat! No, a ghost! Ghost key! One staff whispered. Inside. Office? From where? Jay spun around, paranoid. There's writing on my back, he cried. Say the truth or I will haunt you forever. Who wrote this? Adeshua knew instantly. Her children. Jay looked confused, almost shaken. Just then the twins walked out of his office, smiling. Jay frowned. Who are you? How did you get in here? The girls stood tall. I'm Simisa. This is my twin. That's our mom, Adeshua. Jay's jaw dropped. Just as he was about to erupt, Rotimi stepped in. There's no ghost here. Jay, go home, rest, and leave the twins alone. They're my guests for the week. No one is to disturb them. Jay was boiling inside. He stormed into Adeshua's office. How dare you bring those mosquitoes you gave birth to this office? You sent them to prank me, right? You're playing a very dangerous game. Mark my words, you won't last here. Adeshua said nothing, not a word. He barked, threatened, insulted. She stayed silent. Jay stormed back into Rotimi's office. You told me, no kids. Why break your own rules? You sacked the last woman for this same thing. Why is this one different? Rotimi stayed calm. Yes, I made that rule. I also made the decision to break it. That presentation Adeshua did? We used it. We landed a huge contract this afternoon. Check your email. Jay checked. His eyes widened. Exactly, Rotimi continued. She's gold. And when you find gold, you don't discard it. These twins are just my little way of appreciating her. They're not like the last children who broke things. They're smart, respectful. Adults in small bodies, Jay hissed. No matter what I say, you'll never listen. As he turned to leave, he tripped and landed face first, bruising his arm. The twins laughed. Sorry, Mr. J. Better look where. You're going next time. Even Rotimi chuckled. Jay, you're seeing ghosts and falling. You need rest. Jay sulked to his office. Minutes later, the twins followed him inside. Mr. J, we know everything about you. Nobody told us, but we know. Jay froze. You hurt our mom. Fix it. Apologize. Tell her the truth. We don't care what you did to your friend. That's not our business. But we're coming every day. This week. If you don't confess, next time it may be your eye that gets injured. They stared at him unblinking. There is no peace for the wicked. Jay was shook. For once in his life, two little girls silenced him completely. That evening, Kimmy was ready for the gist, and Adeshwa didn't disappoint. Kimmy laughed till tears came. Those girls, Ain, they pranked Jay. Sweet revenge. The next morning, Adeshwa resumed early. Her colleague kept gossiping, same routine. But this time, Jay had asked for some files first thing in the morning. Adeshwa walked to his office, forgot to knock, and opened the door. What she saw left her frozen, mouth agape. She couldn't even speak. What did Adeshwa see? Adeshwa opened the office door wide, files in hand, only to freeze at the entrance. Her eyes widened, the words caught in her throat. There in the middle of Jay's office stood Jay, shirtless, with his arm outstretched, while Tifa, the infamous girlfriend of Mr. Rowini, dabbed at his injured hand with a piece of cloth. Her heels were on the table, her hair messy like she had just arrived from a photo shoot or a war zone. Nobody could tell. But what stunned Adeshwa most wasn't even the scene itself. It was the intimate way Tifa was touching him. Jay and Tifa both turned around sharply. Tifa's eyes narrowed. "And who are you?" she asked with venom, her gaze dragging across Adeshwa like she was dirt on her stilettos. I'm sorry, sir. You said I should bring the files first thing this morning." Adeshwa stammered, trying to regain her composure. Jay stood up straight and quickly wore his suit jacket. "Drop the files on the table and get out," he snapped, not even meeting her eyes. Adeshwa dropped the files, bowed slightly, and left in silence, but her mind screamed. So this was the connection between Jay and Tifa. No wonder the office feared her. She was entangled with both bosses, one emotionally and the other physically. Back at her desk, her talkative colleague grabbed her arm immediately. "Omo, you look like someone that just saw a ghost. Wedding happened?" Adeshwa just gave a weak smile. Nothing, just tired. But her brain was firing. What was Jay hiding? What did the twins know that even she didn't? And why did Tifa look at her like a threat? The rest of the day passed slowly, but the air around her shifted. Jay didn't speak to her. Tifa left an hour later, but not without glancing coldly at her desk. And strangely, Rotimi didn't show up at all. That evening, as Adeshwa prepared to leave, she got a call from an unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Miss Adeshwa," a deep voice came through. "This is Mr. Roini." Her heart skipped. "Sir? I need to see you." "Now." He dropped the location. A restaurant, upscale, private. Not the type of place where her staff would expect. To meet the boss. She rushed there, her heart racing. What had happened? Had Jay reported her? Was she about to lose her job? When she got there, she found him already seated, calm, sipping wine. "Sit," he said. She obeyed, swallowing her nerves. "I'm not here to talk business," he started, eyes fixed on her. "I want to ask you something personal. Do you know Jay before now?" That question threw her off. "Sir?" "I mean, from before." before this office, before this job. Do you know him? She paused. Her fingers clenched the hem of her dress. Yes, she whispered. Mr. Roini leaned back, nodding slowly like he had suspected it. What did he do to you? And just like that, tears filled her eyes. Her lips parted to speak, but before she could, someone else arrived. A shadow fell across the table. Jay. He had followed her, and from the look in his eyes, he knew everything was about to crash. Secrets began to spill. Jay stood over the table, hands clenched, his face twisted between fury and fear. His eyes didn't even acknowledge Adeshua. They were locked on Rowini. I knew it, Jay said through gritted teeth. You've been planning this behind my back. Mr. Rowini didn't flinch. Calm as ever, he sipped his wine again before replying. Planning what, exactly? You think I need to plan to discover the truth? Jay, your secrets are loud. They've just been waiting for the right wind to blow them open. Jay's voice rose. You had no right to bring her here. You had no right to go behind me. I didn't, Rowini said, cutting him off. She didn't even know why I called her. She's not part of your lies, but she is part of the consequences. Jay turned sharply to Adeshua. So now, you want to act like a victim. You think you can come here with your pitiful children and destroy everything I've built in this office? You think Rotimi will side with you forever? Rowini stood up now, taller than Jay, his voice dropping, but deadly. Everything you've built? He asked. Jay, I gave you this job. I trusted you. I treated you like family. And what did you do in return? You used my trust as a weapon, harassed women, manipulated staff, pretended to own what was never yours. Jay laughed dryly, stepping back. So this is it? You're choosing her? You'll believe some housemaid over your childhood friend? Adeshua stood now, her voice calm but firm. You didn't just ruin my past, Jay. You're still trying to ruin my future. But you know what? I'm not scared of you anymore. My daughters? They see through you clearer than I ever did. Jay's face twitched at the mention of the girls. They're witches, he muttered. Small demons that keep following me like shadows. Rowini raised a brow. They're children, Jay. Smart ones. Maybe smarter than you. You always feared intelligence. You only ever respected power. Jay looked between the two of them, chest heaving. Then he stormed out of the restaurant. The next morning, back at the office, the atmosphere was heavy. Jay hadn't shown up. No calls, no texts, just silence. But something else changed. Everyone seemed to look at Adeshua differently now. Some with curiosity, others with respect. And then came the email. From Rowini subject. Team reshuffle and promotion. Effective immediately, Adeshua has been appointed as the team lead for our new international project branch. All staff are to direct support and reports to her office unless otherwise stated. The office was in shock. Even the talkative colleague screamed in excitement. Adeshua, the newbie, how? But the truth? Rowini had made his choice. Later that afternoon, he called her into his office again. I meant what I said, he told her. You're gold, and gold doesn't stay hidden for long. Adeshua smiled, but her heart was still heavy. Jay? He's been suspended indefinitely, Rowini said firmly, and there will be a full audit of all his activities. He hurt too many people, but I won't let him hurt you again. A pause. Then he looked at her more softly. I hope you can trust me again, not just as a boss, but as someone who sees you, all of you. Adeshua's breath caught. And just then, a knock came. The twins entered with snacks and mischievous smiles. Mummy, we came to check if this fine man has offered you lunch yet. Rowini burst into laughter. Smart and savage. I like them. The masks start to fall. The next morning at work was eerily calm. Too calm. Adishwa stepped into the office, head held high, her promotion fresh in everyone's minds. The once judging stares had shifted. Now there was admiration and envy. Her talkative colleague whispered excitedly, "Adu, girl, you're trending inside this office like fire on dry grass. If gossip was currency, you'd be the central bank today." Adeshwa managed a small laugh, but her heart was uneasy, because while the office smiled, Jay was nowhere to be found, and when a man like Jay goes silent, something is always cooking. Later that day, Rotimi called Adeshwa into his office again. His face was tight with concern. Someone tried to access our company's client database using a remote login from Jay's credentials. Adeshwa frowned. Why would he? He's trying to sabotage us, Rotimi said grimly. Probably out of spite. But don't worry. I've cut off his access and notified legal. The audit is underway. But that's not all. He pushed a file across the table. Look at this. Adeshwa opened it. Copies of forged documents, company expense reports falsified in Jay's name, some even with her signature forged. Adeshwa gasped. He's trying to frame me. He's trying to destroy you before you get too powerful, Rotimi said, but we're ahead of him now. Elsewhere, Jay wasn't done yet. He paced inside a dim hotel room, furious. His bandaged arm still hurt from the fall, but his pride hurt worse. How dare they, he muttered. That woman, those little demons, and that hypocrite Rotimi. He picked up his phone, dialed a number he hadn't used in years. The voice on the other end was cold, regal. Tifa speaking. Jay hesitated. I need your help. I want to bring her down. There was silence. Then a soft, dangerous chuckle. So the maid finally became a queen. Interesting, I warned you about her years ago. She's your karma, Jay. But I suppose karma can be bought. Back at the office. During lunch break, the twins were playing quietly in a corner of the reception with paper and crayons. They drew a picture of a house burning, with the words, "Truth will still burn," written across the top. The receptionist blinked. Girls, are you okay? Simisa looked up, innocent. Yes, we're just drawing the future. Later that evening, as Adeshwa packed up to leave, she got a message on her phone. Unknown number. You took my position, but I will take your peace. Jay, before she could even react, her colleague burst in, panting. Adu, big wahala, news. Just broke on the office group. Someone leaked fake documents saying you were bribed for that contract. What? Yes, oh, with photos. But wait, it gets worse. People are saying the leak came from Tifa herself. Adeshwa froze. Tifa? The mysterious, feared girlfriend of Rowini? What does she have to do with this? And why does her name sound familiar? The woman in the mirror night had barely fallen, but Adeshwa couldn't sleep. Her phone kept buzzing with forwarded messages, edited screenshots, blurred photos, and whispers of scandal, all trying to suggest she'd received bribes for the big contract. But the real bombshell wasn't the photos. It was the source, Yefa Rowini's cold, possessive girlfriend, the one everyone called a witch, the one who came to the office uninvited, the one everyone feared. But now, she was gunning for Adeshwa. And what haunted Adeshwa more than anything? That name, Tifa. It tugged at something old, something buried. Flashback. A dark memory, 12 years ago. Adeshwa, barely 19, had sat outside a hospital corridor, her uniform stained with blood that wasn't hers. She had just finished a 24-hour shift when she'd witnessed a girl, barely older than her, slap a nurse across the face. The reason? The nurse had asked the girl to wait her turn. The girl wore a designer jacket and gold heels. She looked down on everyone like they were dirt. Her name, Tifamide. Tifa. She was the only daughter of one of the city's wealthiest women. Even then, trouble followed her like perfume, and now she was back. The next day, the office was electric. People walked on eggshells. Rumors were flying, but no one dared say much, because the Queen Witch herself had just entered the building. Tifa dressed in all black, heels clicking like a ticking bomb, sunglasses hiding eyes that saw too much. She walked straight into Roini's office. No. Knock. No permission. A full 30 minutes passed. Then a voice rang out. Adeshua, Mr. Roini wants to see you. In the office. Adeshua stepped in, heart pounding. Tifa was seated, legs crossed, sipping from a glass like she owned the sky. Roini looked tense. Miss Adeshua, he said slowly. There's been an accusation. I don't believe it, but it's protocol. Please sit. Adeshua sat. Tifa smiled like a cobra. I'll be brief. I have evidence that this woman has been bribing officials, stealing credit and seducing men in this office for personal gain. Roini sighed. Tifa, let me finish, she said sweetly. Then she turned to Adeshua. You're clever, I'll give you that. But darling, you forget. I play at a level you can't even dream of. Adeshua finally spoke, calmly, firmly. Then play your game. But don't lie about me to win it. Tifa laughed. Sweetheart, if I wanted to lie, you'd already be in jail. Roini finally stood. Enough. Tifa, leave. I said it nicely before. Do not interfere with my staff again. Your staff? Tifa spat. You mean your little project? I've seen this before, Rotimi. You pick strays. You fix them. Then you fall for them. She's no different. Adeshua flinched. Rotimi's voice turned to ice. Get out. Tifa stood, dropped her glass on the table and walked out. But as she passed to Adeshua, she whispered, You remind me of the girl my mother almost hired. Too proud to be a maid. Too dumb to be anything else. After the storm. Later, Adeshua sat outside the building, shaken. That name, that insult, that memory. Could it be? Was Tifa's mother? The woman who once offered to buy her loyalty. In exchange for silence, there was more to this. Much more. And Jay? Jay was suddenly very quiet. Too quiet. Elsewhere. Jay met Tifa at a hidden restaurant that night. She's stronger than I thought, Tifa said. Smarter, too. Then we hit harder, Jay replied. She's not the threat, Tifa said slowly. Her children are. They know too much. Too fast. It's not normal. Jay blinked. You're saying? Tifa's eyes narrowed. I'm saying they're dangerous, and I don't play fair. The truth in her blood. The rain came down in sheets. Adeshua stood in her living room, the walls around her dim with the weight of memory. Her twins, Iri and Dara, were sleeping peacefully upstairs. The house was quiet, too quiet. On the table lay a single envelope, unmarked. Inside it, photos. One of her at age 17, standing outside a mansion gate in soaked sandals. One of her kneeling beside a crying child. A child with a birthmark behind his left ear. The last, a black and white. Document, paternity test, no name, just numbers. And a note. Blood never lies. Adeshua, but you did. Tia flashback. 8 years ago. A house by the lagoon, marble floors, gold-trimmed everything. She had gone to clean once a week. Just another girl trying to pay her way through. School. The madam of the house was always absent, but the son, he was kind, too kind. Rotimi, he had asked her about her dreams. She had answered once. Just once. I want to build something, not just survive. I want dignity. He had watched her like she was more than a maid, like she was real. But she left that job after just 3 months. Pregnant, alone. Present day Adeshua's phone buzzed. It was Dara. Mommy, she whispered, scared. "There's a lady outside. She says she's our aunt. She touched my cheek and said I look like someone called Mabel." Adeshwa froze. Mabel, Tifa's mother, her old employer, and the woman who had once offered her money to disappear. Adeshwa grabbed her keys. "Don't open the door. Hide in the back room. Lock it." She raced home. Her thoughts? Not fear. Rage. They were crossing the line now. Her children were no longer invisible, and someone wanted them erased. Meanwhile, at Cross Industries, Rotimi was staring at his father's old office files. Hidden in the bottom drawer was a yellow folder with a name he hadn't seen in years, Adeleke. Adeshwa. He opened it. Photos, letters. One particular note written by his father. "If she ever resurfaces, pay her off. Keep her far from Rotimi. That girl is trouble." Rotimi sat back, stunned. They had known. His father, his mother, even Tifa. They had known everything, and they let him forget. A private conversation in a black SUV parked across from Adeshwa's street. Jay watched her rush into her home. "She's fast," he said, smirking. "But fear makes people faster." Tifa lit a cigarette. "We won't use fear next time," she said coolly. "We'll use the law." "You sure?" "That'll be enough." Tifa exhaled smoke slowly. "No. But I'm not playing to win anymore, Jay. I'm playing to destroy." That night, Adeshwa stood by her children's bed, watching them sleep. She clutched a photo in her hand, the one with the birthmark. The truth was obvious now. Dara had the same mark behind her ear. So did Ire. There was no escaping it anymore. Rotimi was their father, but it wasn't just about blood. It was about why she had kept it hidden. Because the moment she'd learned she was pregnant, she saw the war coming. And she'd sworn she'd rather raise them in poverty with peace than raise them in a mansion with chains. Now the war had found them anyway. Next morning, at the office, Rotimi entered the boardroom. Adeshwa was already seated, back straight, eyes calm. She placed the envelope gently in front of him. "Look inside." He did. Silence stretched for miles. When he looked up, his voice cracked. "Is this real?" She nodded once. "They're yours, Rotimi. I never planned to tell you. I didn't want this to be about obligation, or drama, or image." He stared at the photos again. Of Ear, of Dara, his children. I should have known," he whispered. "No," she said. You couldn't. That's why I left. That's why I raised them alone. But now they're in danger, and I don't know how to keep them safe anymore." Rotimi's jaw tightened. Then quietly, slowly, he reached for her hand. "Then we protect them, together."